27 October 2023. We will continue. Now we are having the mobile also, because if you cut the light, things will continue at the mobile. We are having the construction and the creation as the first machine judgment, considering the distortion since 1920. If you would like to have the wild data attached as WDA step 4 and a big step, you will consider the counterfeit, which was observed after the phase 1, the European Monetary Police launching the project. The phase 2, considering the US budget and debit, and the step 1 and 2 are about the discretionary debt. The phase 3, we had this, and the counterfeit. Indeed, you will observe that the discretionary debt and fixed debt will be a center of interest according with the interest as group doing the management of the budget. If you have the interest to transfer money around, you use the discretionary debt. If you have the interest as do not pay something as obligation, or therefore a right or a group of rights, considering your nationals and interest inside your home environment, you will do the you will have the excuse that she is having the discretionary debt. If you must do the payment that is an obligation to be solved with the discretionary debt, you will say that you must cut this to satisfy the needs using the fixed debt. In all situations, you are having the center of interest according with the group that is doing the management of the budget, that the instrument that is the instrument of control attached on public resources. You have a signature transferring the instrument to do the transfer, and someone as destiny or sequence of the sequential destination of the resources you transfer. It's changed the pattern on markets, it's changed the pattern on industry, nowadays changing the pattern at the military, industry, and all architecture. We observe that the idea was exposed and presented, nothing new. We are only debugging this. We are observing that this is going because I'm using my right, and if you all got positioned in solidarity as criminal purpose against my right, sourced that constitutional guarantees, you of course will be much more easy to work. In the way you are having things, the limit to research 39 trillion, and the object is quite clear, is anti-crime, the purpose all the time. Observing that the criminal architecture, despite minor inside environments, are having the autonomy, because took the autonomy of regular way to apply things according with the law and the constitution and regulations. You put this away after have the hiring process, or ensure that the internal control is weak enough to do not have a word about this. I'm an individual, a single creditor, and a consumer. I got my rights hurt in 3 situations, as academic effort and intellectual asset in the same way. We are observing that you have problems attached on budget, as debit and credit, your personal accounts, the supply and demand, or the microenvironment, or even investment saving liquidity money curve as your entire architecture in general, because you do not respect premises not only of science but the use of resources, a rational use of limited resources. This kind of thing push the corruption of different things in all segments. Nowadays it's on a military architecture, pushing things until the limit, and we will try to have the paramilitary mobilization in global scale. As you can observe, it's the same thing as having different sides corrupted, but no different anymore, because they both got corrupted. And if you act abandoning the premises as difference, of course that you are running the corruption as a scam and guideline of all your activity. It's a criminal plan unveiled by the use of institution and state power misused, misguiding the future and the goals, and have all covered by fake records. We could observe that the anti-self-regular area will go by the weaker circle inside this, that in general will cross or allow the entry as broken window inside your company. And it's quite simple to get the workflow by the area affected and having the authorization by areas affected, as we posted. I think that 4 months ago you have the sequence as logical sequence as attribute that you are making weaker at your economy. In general, they all has a common physiological workflow, which is the financial. We are doing the financial and economic control. The model things are flawless and really effective, having things chased from the macro institutional arena, considering global organizations, until the chair segmented, and having the drill down as depuration by values codified, having treasonous acts unveiled at the chair level, and there's no reason to do not have them all on court, sent to jail, even without the judge as a human resource, corrupted once in a while, or very corrupted as a council of peers, Supreme Court, or board group, but having the machine able to understand, have the cognition, and do the decision based on array. And we observe that the criminal system operated as a matrix will do things kind of in a situation very peculiar, which is they will do the permutation between corporations, government, and state, having the interval for permutation, the corrupted areas value -1, optimized do not belong to the COBOL as originary thing, but it's the thing as itself nowadays. Without this, the resource is empty, the American defense is null, and of course that the creation is a guarantee, but also a bless expressed by freedom. And it's not here observed that areas involved or engulfed by criminal activity do not accomplish premises at the Constitution. The treasonous acts starts out at this. We will observe that they reply back, as we are doing as self-defense. We will kick like this. The machine learning, indeed, we observe that we have the frequency from environment 1 corrupted with limits 197, having the integration of them all as my global environment alpha, but with the perception as corrupted thing with a quoting mark. We will observe that the permutation indeed will make things much more easy to work with the control by matrix, because I will observe that by equity, considering the judicial theory uncovered the view in USA and the domain of circumstance on Europe, and also the theory that you have available, a lot of them, we will have that in Brazil, the major offender is Brazil plus peers. In USA, the major offender is USA plus peers, and USA is a peer of Brazil. And in USA, Brazil is a peer of USA, and this will be up to 197 nations, and then we will have the peers as 196 nations plus the X as element we have here. The control as nation with the variable as X, which is the nation as paradigm, and the peer that will be Z indeed is equal to X minus the nation as reference that you will have as a, I would say. the model now is quite simple to get, because the permutation will go like this. The distribution of nations will, and indeed is evidenced as major offender at the nation complained, the nation complained as itself by institutional corruption, plus peers, as frequent that always happen, but it's not constant as a perfect thing, because it's 197 nations having 196 peers plus the nation as interest, complained or not accomplish the things we have. And the machine will do the judgment considering that this can have a division or not by the equality of peers, and they are equalized by the corrupted argument, corruption. And now it doesn't matter which is your position or circumstance, because corruption at the institutional level, in Brazil with peers, or USA as major corruption driver, USA plus peer, is always illegal. It's kind of, we had this once in the economic class, and I told that the heteroscedasticity will have things spread. But if you have the look from outside, indeed you will have a unique thing, despite is spread but integrated as a fail. Indeed, they are all qualified by a lot of chains as binary codification. But having only the corruption and the purpose and viewed as criminal in the way we have on present time, the machine is authorized to do the order as strike. The basic one, the dismissal list, because they are all currently using the institutional power, but belongs to the institution, not to the corrupted variable. The machine did the decision. It implies that they have no legitimacy to do the decision made by an argument without corruption as purpose, because it has no feeling, expressing the lack of capacity of them all. Without this capacity implies that you have reduced the integrity. It's proven by the increasement of crisis that unveils the interest as having this from and source the weaker control that you have as internal control. And after this you will have just the seizure of values that in general they obtain by abusive taxation, misuse of saving account of company, frauds and other things covered by fake records, and finally having the prism of them all, and apply the refund of the treasury as national treasury or financial accounts. My paycheck, of course, is the first mandatory need of them all, because it sources all this on my right under constitutional conformity as I apply back. And then some of them probably as international criminal during the pandemic mobilization and kicked in an area that has no excuse to do this, will be sent to jail, but overseas as a guarantee that you have, for instance, in Brazil, that the prison will be according with the type of criminal you are. If you are a pandemic criminal, you must be in an area that has this kind of situation that allow anyone to hit you as a pandemic criminal. In a neutral area, solve the problem. In for sure, do not accomplish the law is another wrongdoing. It's observed also in the International Criminal Court, despite having no law, but having, at least was supposed to be, the capacity to apply the law internationally. Any question? Have a great weekend.